healthy friends, Carrie here again today, and I'm really excited to be talking to you about sugar. So in past videos, we've talked about macronutrients like carbohydrates, protein, fat, and in those videos, I've talked a tiny bit about sugar because sugar is technically a carbohydrate. However, I wanted to dedicate a full video to sugar to demonstrate just how important I think it is to try to fiercely eliminate it from our diets. I want to talk through today some of the reasons why I think they're so bad for you, and then in subsequent videos talk about how you can kick the sugar habit. So let's get started. So what is sugar? Sugar, like I just mentioned, is a carbohydrate. It's a simple carbohydrate and it is sweet, which is why we like it so much. It comes in different forms, and without getting too technical or too scientific, it basically is anything that you see on a food label that ends in OSE, an OSE. That refers to some of the chains of the elements like carbon, for example, in the molecule of sugar itself. So for example, I'm sure you've heard of sucrose. That's white table sugar. You've probably also heard of fructose. That's fruit sugar. So that's the sugar that actually sweetens the fruit that you eat. And then there's also dextrose, there's lactose, which is milk sugar as well. There are lots of these OSEs out there. And those OSEs are the ones that designate that you are eating a sugar carbohydrate. Where can you find sugar? I think this is a really funny question because sugar is everywhere. It's insidious. If you buy food in a package, you're likely buying something with an OSE in it, like dextrose, maltodextrose, all of those different OSEs, even sucrose, glucose, whatever it might be. But let me just list out a couple of different sugars that you are familiar with, and then I'll take you on a tour of a grocery store so that we can see some of the hidden sugars as well in a later video. So, some sugars. We have white sugar or table sugar. That's the sugar you typically would put in your coffee or your tea to sweeten it, or you would bake with it. There's coconut palm sugar. There are different sugars like honey and agave syrup and maple syrup. There is milk. Milk has lactose, so it includes sugar as well. You also have options to think about alcohol. Alcohol is a very insidious sugar because it's a liquid form of sugar that immediately changes the body composition. But that's also a sugar. There are other things that you also can notice as well, like fruit. Fruit is a sugar, that's fructose. Let's talk about the addictive nature of sugar. Sugar has been shown to be as addictive as drugs. It has the same opiate effect on the brain as cocaine. This is crazy, right? So if we're eating sugar and it's having the similar effect as a drug on the brain, that means that we're being controlled by this substance that has no nutritional value at all and is inhibiting our ability to make choices, inhibiting our brain to tell us when we're full. It is one of the most insidious, awful things that we can eat. And because now we have studies to show and to prove that it does have this effect on the brain, it's all that more important to make sure that we're trying to eliminate as much of it as possible. How much sugar should we be consuming per day? This is an interesting question because right now, the average American is consuming a ridiculous amount of sugar per day, and I like to look at it in grams per day. The FDA recently came out with a metric that we should be adhering to. We're eating more than this metric. So we're eating far more than the 50 grams per day that the FDA is recommending. However, that's practically twice as much as we should be consuming according to the American Heart Association. The American Heart Association says that men should be eating 37.5 grams or less per day, and women should be eating 26 grams or less per day. But when we go into future videos, just you wait and see how hard it is to meet that number. It's so easy to exceed that number, which is why I think the FDA made that 50 gram a day bar. It's way too much sugar no matter what, way too much. But at least we have a bar and we can start calculating to that bar. Why else is sugar so bad? So let's just talk about what happens when you ingest sugar. When you ingest sugar by eating it in any form, whether it's sugar in your coffee, or you're eating a pastry, or you've decided to put some honey on your oatmeal, what happens is it goes into the stomach. It seeps through the lining of the stomach and it triggers your pancreas to create more and more insulin. That insulin production is a spike that's happening in your body, which then makes your body go haywire. All these different systems in your body go haywire. On top of that, with the insulin spike, it makes your brain go nuts. That insulin spike tells your brain to keep on eating because you need to figure out how to lower that insulin level. So as you keep on eating, your brain now doesn't have an understanding of, am I full? Am I not full? If I take this next bite, will I feel full? Will I not? It's a terrible position to be in because the brain is going a little haywire as a result of this insulin spike. Also, because then you don't know if you're full or not, you tend to overeat, and those extra calories you eat are then signaled by that insulin to create fat. So I like to say this, I don't know if this is scientifically correct or not, so don't quote me on it, but I like to say that the more sugar you consume, the more you can assume that you will get fat. You will build more fat cells, you will supply them, you will feed them, and you will put on weight. It's gross. The other two things that I have noticed, because it's really messed up my system, and once I was able to get rid of sugar, I felt a lot better, is number one, it messes up with the yeast and the microbiota in your gut. So the gut bacteria is really important for everyday life and your own health. And when you mess this up and you allow yeast to grow and grow and grow and grow, it messes up with a whole lot of your digestive system, your circulatory system, your brain and neurological functions, your skin, everything. And then speaking of skin, it also wreaks havoc on your skin. As the organ that is the largest in your body, your skin can manifest a lot of things that are going on in your body. And when you ingest a lot of sugar, it starts to come out in the skin in lots of different ways. Some people get rashes, some people get acne, some people get like weird growths on their skin. And once they're able to rid their system and detox their system of sugar, they start to see that some of these symptoms go away. So at the end of the day, sugar is terrible for you, and it has these major impacts on the body that you want to make sure to reduce or eliminate. Sugar, there you have it. I didn't want to make this video too long because there's so much to say about sugar, so this is like an introduction to sugar and why it's so bad for consumption and for our bodies, and why we shouldn't be feeding our kids sugar either. In subsequent videos, we'll definitely talk about how you can try to detox, how you can try to eliminate some sugar from your diet. And we'll even do a grocery tour so that we can do some analysis of nutrition and nutrition labels so that you can see how hidden sugars do rack up to meet that grams per day requirement. So stay tuned and tell me, did you like this video? If you did, give it a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments below if you are interested in learning or have any questions about sugar in particular, and food and exercise and health in general. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, be healthy and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, bye.